You guys have been patient. Ever since July sales figures came out here in 2025, it's been a slow digestion. We first hit on Mazda, and things are now clearer with Mazda as they are reducing shipments from the CX-30 and the Mazda 3 that are built in Mexico. They're not really sending them as much to the United States right now due to tariffs. Despite that, they're still up 13% on the month. We had Toyota just guns blazing, outperforming everyone right now. They were up 22%. Lexus doing okay, up 9%. You got to keep in mind, last year in the month of July, there was less selling days, 25 versus 26 this year. There's also the CDK outage. All right, so all these numbers should be up because of less resistance, essentially. But when you see Acura being down 9%, that and Honda barely being up, I'm a little bit worried. And then you also have Ford doing what they should be, being up 9% versus last year. I had a friend who was selling for Ford at the time, and it was pandemonium with CDK being down. All right, Genesis up 8%, not as great as a result as they like. And Hyundai, though, parent company of Genesis, up 15%, Kia up 12%. We're going to break down these sales today and Hyundai's record-breaking July. If you guys enjoy industry news updates, if you enjoy geeking out over these car sales every single month, make sure to smash that like button. Most of these brands you see on this list do communicate monthly. Toyota does not, but I got on Toyota's nice list essentially to be able to get Toyota numbers every single month going forward. And that's just, I'm tickled to death for that one. If you like those geeky updates, make sure you are subscribed. We're getting into Hyundai here. Record-breaking 2025, best July total and retail. Total sales increased 15%. Retail sales climbed 18%. Retail sales are car sales directly to you, your neighbor, your friend, your grandma, etc. Normal people. There's retail sales, which are sold to actual people, and then there's fleet sales, which are less profitable. They can typically ship a lot of volume with fleet sales, but those are to police departments, rental car services, big businesses, etc. All right, so they're kind of sold at wholesale, I guess you could say. All-time monthly records for Elantra hybrid, Palisade, Ioniq 5, Santa Fe family. All right. The good news is that the Santa Fe will be dropping its 8-speed DCT because it's been an absolute nightmare for Hyundai. The DCT 8-speed, well, my friends at Car Confections, they had to go out with like essentially no miles on it. So they got rid of that Santa Fe altogether. I've always recommended the hybrid variant because it just drives better and you get better fuel economy and it doesn't cost that much more. But now they're getting rid of the DCT that mates with the 2.5 turbo. It's not happening immediately. It might take a year for it to happen, but it's good that the Santa Fe is ditching that DCT. If you look at my new Palisade review that I posted this morning, Palisade has an 8-speed traditional automatic transmission, and it's pretty good. It's not that fast for its class, I should say. It is really smooth. And it just operates really, really well. So Hyundai has a good automatic that they're going to put in the Santa Fe to mate with the 2.5 turbo now. Also, speaking of Hyundai, today I'm getting a Sonata and hopefully I can get the Ioniq 9 soon for review. Electrified sales jumped 50% in July. That's massive. Palisade is now on sale with the V6 hybrid later this fall. Make sure to check out my review on the Palisade or initial impressions after driving it about 3 hours in California. It's a fantastic 3-row SUV. Elantra, minus 10% on the month, up 15% on the year. What's going on here? I'm not quite sure. Could be tariff related. Elantra, I'm almost positive, is built in Korea. It stopped being built in the Montgomery plant in 2023. So yeah, they are all coming from South Korea, the Elantra. And maybe because of tariffs, they're starting to pump the brakes on that vehicle. Ioniq 5, it's guns blazing right now. If you want an EV, time is of the essence because the EV tax credit is ending in about a month and a half from the time of this recording, September 30th. So Ioniq 5 sales, this is the time to get a killer deal. Same thing with Ioniq 6. All right, the sedan version of the Ioniq 5 essentially. Ioniq 9. Sales, well, it's not selling the Ioniq 6, but that's not saying much, all right? It's a crossover market, and three-row crossovers sell better typically than sedans. But we'll see after it all shakes out. I think they're all coming from the Meta plant in outside of Savannah, Georgia now. All right. Kona, minus 6%. All Konas, to my knowledge, are also built in Korea. So maybe they stopped some production there to mitigate the tariff effect. Palisade is also built in Korea, but this thing just makes so much money. It sells so well for Hyundai. And look at it. It's up 13%. On the end of a generation. Hyundai, the new Palisade's just going to go bonkers, assuming they can make enough of them. It's up 53% on the month as they clear out stock. Maybe some good sales, some 0% financing, that sort of thing. I know there's 0% financing on the Santa Fe, which is up 57% on the month, up 21% on the year. Santa Fe hybrid all day long. You can get great deals in the low 30s for them right now in my area. I mean, I can't say enough about the Santa Fe hybrid. I can't say enough about the new Palisade. The old Palisade was good. The new Palisade is incredible. Santa Fe also really good if you can get past the styling on the back end. I like the styling everywhere else in the Santa Fe. I think from the side it looks good, the front it looks good. The saggy pants in the back are a bit weird, but that's not stopping people from getting off their couch and buying a new Santa Fe. Hybrid is definitely the way to go with 0% financing. I mean, that's just a chef's kiss of a deal right now. Sonata, well, it was having a good year. It's up 1% on the year. It's down 23% on the month. I believe all Sonatas are built and shipped over from Korea. Yeah, they stopped producing it in the United States in 2022. So they're all coming over from Korea. You know, Hyundai, they're supposed to be a redesign, but initially they were going to replace it with an EV. And then they're like, wow, the EV demand is not where it needs to be. Now there's no EV tax credit in the near future. So here it is. I mean, its sales are okay right now. If we go back to sales here, it sold 61,000 in 2024, up from 2023. It's its best year since 2021. We're pacing right now on the Sonata 63,000, about where they ended up last year. So we'll see where it ends up. But again, tariffs, they didn't have to deal with tariffs last year. All right, so Tucson. Tucson's tricky. They build them in the United States. They also build them in Mexico. But they can get cute with it. They can send, Hyundai can send those Tucsons to Canada and keep the American-built ones in the United States. It's up 20% on the year, only up 2% on the month. The Tucson, I just reviewed it. It's a dog unless you get the hybrid. Like, a hybrid is a really solid vehicle, and the gasoline is just a snooze fest. You have to put the pedal all the way down to get anything out of that powertrain. Yeah, it just wasn't good. It was not a good car. All right, it had everything I wanted except propulsion. And that's all remedied with the hybrid version of the Tucson. But we know in the next year or so, the Tucson will be getting a redesign based off of that one concept. Let me pull it up. It should look a lot like the Nexo. In fact, this could be the new the new Tucson. This could absolutely, why create a unique model that is fuel cell? You can, look at Honda, the CR-V. They build the CR-V by the hands of people who made the NSX. Sorry, the CR-V fuel cell. All right. I think that this is going to be awfully close to what the next generation Tucson looks like. I don't know if it's going to be one for one, but I know the styling and the design here. Look how much of the new Palisade this looks like on the inside. Of course, we won't have digital rearview mirrors, but if I had to put money on it, I would say we're going to see a lot of carryover from this, which is the new Nexo, into the new Palisade, and I'm excited for it. Some people say, and I do too, I think it does take some from the Pontiac Aztek, but I think the world is ready for some Pontiac Aztek. I like the unique styling on here. I like the styling on this new Nexo more than the current Tucson. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that. But when this vehicle gets redesigned with new hybrid and potentially range extended hybrids on this thing, it's going to be awesome. So stay tuned on the channel. If I hear anything about the new Tucson, I'll let you guys know. And then Venue. I've been seeing more Venues around. We need more cheap cars on the market. Hyundai Venue up 7%, built in Korea. So tariffs are eating into the profitability of this vehicle for sure. It's up 14% on the year. So Hyundai Venue having a good year. When I was in Puerto Rico to drive the new Honda Passport, I saw Hyundai Venues everywhere. everywhere. It was like every other car. It was insane. They're very affordable. They're practical. You sit up high. It's like essentially a little hatchback thing. And that's great. All right, people need affordable cars. Bring on the venues here in the United States. Let's move on over to Kia. Kia posts 12% year-over-year sales increase in July. Apparently, it was not a best July ever, but it had... Oh, it is. It is a best July ever. I didn't see that in the headlines. Okay, so July retail sales, retail, not total, not including fleet. So best retail sales, that's still feather in the cap for Kia. Retail is up 9%. Year-to-date, Kia sales are up 8% over 2024 over all-time record pace. Kia is on pace to set an all-time sales record. I would assume Hyundai could be as well. All right, Carnival. Sportage Telluride achieving highest ever July sales. I just saw Sportage this morning, I think, or late yesterday, sitting on the porch. So there might be one in my neighborhood. But all right, I want to get into these percentages. Soul up 30%, essentially the long lost brother of the venue we just talked about. The Carnival up 30%. Minivans cannot be denied in today's market. Kia K5 up 25%. That's weird because the Sonata is down. Telluride up 15%. Well, we just saw that the Palisade was up big as well. And the Telluride, however, sidesteps those tariffs because the Telluride is made in the United States and Georgia, I believe, but it might rely on quite a few foreign parts, so that could hurt its profitability. Sportage, South Korea, it's made in the United States. Okay, so that is good that they do make it stateside at the West Point, Georgia plant. I don't know which models would come over, maybe the hybrids. I'm not quite sure if we get any from South Korea, but the Sportage is probably pretty safe from tariffs. Sorrento, the 3-row, not quite as big. It's kind of the Santa Fe, right? It's the same size as Santa Fe, except the Santa Fe is a whole new generation ahead of the Sorrento currently. But the Sorrento's up 11%. Carnival, Sportage, Telluride, just absolutely on fire. So I want to go over to these individual sales. Look at the EV9. One of the best EVs in the market, in my opinion. It's just very expensive, so that maybe puts a dent in the argument. It's one of the best 3-row EVs. How about that? Same thing with the Ioniq 9. Look at the sales. They're absolutely in the dumps. They're about half as what they were last year. And the EV9, I guess, compared to 2024 is about the same. They're a little bit down, so it seems like it's leveling out right now. EV6, well, again, why is it leveling out? Well, incentives. Big incentives as well as EV tax credit, just like we saw on the Ioniq vehicles doing quite well with sales. EV6, though, still maybe about 60% of it what its sales were last year. Forte, rest in peace. The K4 that replaces it is built in Mexico, and I'm sure that's eaten into profitability for Hyundai. But look at this vehicle. Who said sedans were dead? And we don't even have the K4 liftback yet, which that vehicle looks so good. I can't wait to drive it. Up 6,000 units on the year, up less than 1,000 units on the month. It is just killing it, the K4. Really good vehicle. I made it as a solid buy in my cars that I reviewed this year. I would take it over a Corolla non-hybrid. I wish the K4 had a hybrid, but they don't have, I don't assume, the infrastructure to build hybrids down there in Mexico right now. K5. Just doing great. Look how many they've sold, 40,000 this year. Is it outselling? Abe's here to say hello. Is it outselling the Sonata? It is at 37,000 units. Kia Soul, people need more affordable vehicles. It's up on the month, down on the year, but I like the direction it's heading. It's up 1,200 units so far this month of July. When I say this month, we're talking about July, since obviously we don't have August figures yet, as it is early August. Anyways, Nero, up 100 units, less than 100 units. This is a weird vehicle. This vehicle is built in Korea. I'm almost positive of that. And it is down 6,000 units. It's strange because we're in a hybrid starved market. And the Nero, which is hybrid, EV, and plug-in hybrid, is it's not doing great. Since they don't break out EV and plug-in hybrid variants of the Nero, maybe those variants are down a lot. That's a possibility. Those could be down, and maybe the hybrid's just humming along. I'm not sure. The Nero is a bit of a mystery, but it's doing okay this month. All right. But it is a traditional rival to something like the Prius, and it's nowhere close to the Prius. I think the Prius is at 40,000 sales, or close to that so far this year. Kia Seltos. Well, the Niro and the Seltos don't need to coexist. I wish the Seltos had a hybrid, and then you don't need to have the Niro per se. The Niro is a more practical car. I will say that the Seltos is pretty cramped. The Seltos is down about 500 units this month, and it's down 10,000 units on the year. Don't know why. Just like the Kona's down. I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe it's not as profitable as just making a bunch of Sportages or K4s. So maybe they're just reducing volume on them. I'm not quite sure. That segment, this subcompact crossover segment, it was guns blazing like 5 to 3 years ago, and it seems to be slowing down, I would say. I don't have any numbers to back that up. That's just my gut, I guess. Sportage, up about 1,500 units. It's their best seller. It's already sold over 100,000 units this year. Is it outselling the Tucson? No, the Tucson's got the edge by 129,000. Sorry, it's at 129,000. So it's got a 28,000 lead over the Sportage. Sportage isn't aging that well. They just refreshed it. I think the Tucson has aged better. The Sportage, it's a solid vehicle. I don't know what else to say about it, especially in the hybrid form, like I said about the Tucson. Sorento, the smaller 3-row, it's doing great. It's up 5,000 units on the year, and it's up about 700 units on the month. We need a redesign on it, but likely the Telluride is going to get a redesign before the Sorento. Telluride is just, like I said, the best month ever for the vehicle, and it's up about 9,000 units this year and up 1,400 units on the month, as a redesign is going to be coming out in a year from now, okay, to follow on the backs of the Palisade. The Carnival, the last vehicle on the list, minivans. Watch my review. I compare it to the Honda Odyssey. I had both of them at the same time. I'm going to do the same thing with the Sonata and the Camry. I have them both at the same time. All right, but the Carnival is up 14,000 units on the year, up about 1,400 units on the month. The Carnival, I was seeing mid-30s fuel economy. It's probably the most spacious out of all of the minivans right now. It rides. It doesn't ride well. You throw it in a turn, it feels like half of it's going one way, the other half of the van is going the other way. It does not handle bumps on the road very well. But the hybrid's the star of the show. The space is great. And the tech is best in class. There's no doubt about it. I really like the Carnival. I'm a huge fan of minivans. I would take a minivan over, I'd take the Carnival over the Sorento and Telluride, but I also have a lot of kids. So like sliding doors and cargo space comes at like a luxury. It's not even a luxury for me. It's a necessity for me. So I'd take it over Telluride and Sorento. The standout here, I guess, would be the K4. Small cars, just guns blazing. I'm curious. I think the Corolla sales were about 180,000 units, if I remember properly, so far this year, something like that. And then the Honda Civic, let me pull up Honda real quick. Civic is down, but the Civic has sold 147,000 units so far this year. So the K4's, it's not directly yipping on the heels, snapping at the heels of something like the Civic. And the Corolla, but it's definitely pretty decent. And I'm trying to think, I don't have numbers for Nissan, but I'm sure the Sentra is outselling it. The Sentra was at 85,000 units at the halfway mark. So I mean, it might beat out the Sentra this year. Time will tell. They're both made in Mexico, the Sentra and the K4. Which one I would take depends on what kind of lease deal I can get on either one of them. The K4 might have the edge there. It's hard to say. But Kia, Hyundai, and what about Genesis? I don't know if Automotive News wrote anything about Genesis. Record month in the United States. Just like Hyundai, just like Kia. Well, Kia on retail. Sales rising 8% to 6,687. GV70 led the way with 2,873 deliveries. Looking at new Genesis models in my area, there's over 1,500. That is actually a ton. I know I'm in a very luxury heavy market down here in South Florida. So there is going to be higher volume than compared to many parts of the country. But looking at available Genesis models, 256 G70s, 119 G80. Oh, sorry. Those are just the sedans. All right. Those are the low volume sellers. Look at this. 600 GV70s and 445 GV80s within it. So there's essentially 500 GV80s in my area. So I'm curious, we should see big price drops on the GV70 essentially, because look, 46, 47, this is 12 grand off of MSRP. GV70 is a great luxury vehicle. If it's 12 grand off of MSRP, I mean, that's a twin turbo V6 as well. Holy macaroni. 2.5T is a good vehicle as well. I really like the electric version of the GV70 as well. But if I was getting electric Genesis, it would probably be the electric G80, which there are like none in my area. The dealers just can't sell them, even though it's one of the best luxury sedans and one of the best EVs on the market. It's just so dang expensive. So I guess I don't blame the dealers for not wanting them. Essentially, they're made to order at this point. But the electrified GV70, this one's built in the United States at least. And this is not a bad buy. It's just that the range is so compromised, but the interior is so plush. It's so fast. It rides so well, so quiet. Really love it. Anyways, what about Hyundai? Hyundai has 8,700 available vehicles just within 150 miles. You're going to be able to get screaming deals on these cars. I think the best buy right now, well, obviously I have lenses of a dad, but I think the low 30s here. Look, $34,000 for a Santa Fe hybrid. You're going to get crazy fuel economy on it. Great space, great tech. For a base SEL, it's not even that base because I think the SE is based on the gas model, but you're going to get 0% financing. Absolute great buy right now. And it's going to be the same for the Tucson. Look how many Palisades are here. 694 available Palisades, a ton of Konas available as well. The Elantra, almost 1,200. There's going to be fire sales on the Elantra. The Tucson, over 2,000. But I wouldn't touch these 2000s because the hybrid is the only way I could live with it. And you can get Tucson hybrids as low as 27 grand is what they're advertising here. That seems too good to be true, but I would be calling Napleton's West Palm Beach to see what that's all about, because that seems like a crazy deal. Oh, it's a leftover 24. Might as well snap that up. You can see the wheel design's a little bit different, but that seems like a good deal. But maybe the incentives are better. I guarantee the incentives are better on this, and it's a model year newer, so 0% financing probably on the Tucson hybrids. I wouldn't hesitate. Very, very good car. All right, what about Kia? What kind of volume are we seeing? And are we going to see deals on the Carnival? Minivan sales are through the roof. Demand for minivans are through the roof. What can we get our feet? Actually, let's look at, there's a ton of Carnival hybrids. Again, that's the only way I would be buying it. The V6 is good. I just drove the V6 and the 8-speed auto and the Palisade. It's fine. It's perfectly fine, but might as well double your fuel economy with the hybrid. As low as $38K, I wouldn't hesitate. I would buy this and not wait months, years to get fleeced by a Toyota dealer and buying a Sienna right now. This is a great buy for the EX under 40K. Great tech and just an overall solid vehicle. So can't say enough about the Carnival. Carnival hybrid, very good vehicle. Just don't throw it in the turns at speed. Use your brakes before you get there because it's going to feel like crap in the turns. K4. Look, there's over 900 K4s. There's over 1,100 Elantras. You're going to be able to get these things at dirt cheap prices, a little over 20 grand. There's crazy deals to be had right now for Hyundai vehicles and Kia vehicles. What about the Sorento hybrid? Well, there's not very many. Oh, not the Sorento hybrid. I know there's not very many of those. But what about the Sportage hybrid? 336. Again, this is the best powertrain on the Sportage. Low 30. Oh my gosh, you can get one. You can get one for 25K. Sorry, Corolla Cross hybrid. I would just be getting this for less money. It's actually available and it's bigger. And, this thing costs $6 grand less essentially than a comparable CR-V hybrid or RAV4 hybrid. Great, crazy deals to be had on Hyundai right now, and Kia and Genesis if you're in the market for some Korean makes and models. And their sales with this aggressive pricing are just going to go through the roof. What does it say about the profitability of the company? I have no idea. I guess I'll keep my eyes peeled for financial results. These are breaking records, and they're doing it with steep discounts, crazy good incentives. I see 0% financing commercials all the time for Hyundai and Kia. They're doing it. They're crushing it. They're soaking up market share, and they have really good hybrids too, which like I said, I can't toot those horns enough. They're not the most efficient. They're not the most powerful, or maybe not the most reliable, but if you can get it for $6,000 less, who cares? It's going to still get you crazy good fuel economy and a really good driver experience as well. Thank you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Stay tuned for more sales updates here on the channel. Have a great day and peace.